Well, my dandruff is loose, and my breath is chartreuse. I know I ain't cute, and my voice is kaput. But that's alright, people. I'm just crazy enough to sing to you any old way. I figure the odds be 50-50. 50-50. Isn't that a recent survey that they did when they asked people in this country whether they believed in God or not? And 50%, around that figure, said yes, and of course the other 50% said no. However, if they were asked further, the people who didn't believe in God would probably have said they believed in the spinning ball, which is another religion. Because if you asked the people in this country, the majority would be Christian. Then I think there'd be Muslims after that. Perhaps a few Hindus and Sikhs, Jews, of course. This cross-section of the world's religions, or most of them. And they're all bullshit. What a shame to have invested in something so meaningless and pointless. And can't you do good without thinking that you're serving some deity? Haven't you got it in your heart to be a good person or a good man or woman, without thinking to yourself, oh, God's watching me, so brownie points I'm scoring doing this? It doesn't work like that, because there is no God. There is a creator, obviously. You can call that what you like, call it a God if you like, but it certainly doesn't answer prayers and all that nonsense. And the people who go to church on a Sunday, it's Sunday today actually, and praise the Lord, they're probably only doing it because it's kind of routine and they wouldn't have anything else to do. A lot of them would be doing this. That's what I used to do. In fact, I was forced to go when I was a child. Forced to go. Didn't have any choice. I'd much rather not have gone. I had plenty of things to do. But I had to go and get my hypnotism classes, lessons. But you can swing that pendulum all you like in front of my eyes and you won't be hypnotizing me. When we all arrived at chapel on a Sunday morning, all the older people would sit down and then appear to fall asleep. But they weren't asleep, they were praying. And then they would wake up after a little prayer, or appear to wake up. Now, I never did that, I just observed them doing it. I didn't really know what the hell they were doing until I kind of worked it out for myself. They were, making their self known or whatever with God, with their imagination, really. I have never done that because there's nobody there. That's why I don't speak to non-existent deities. I think it's a complete waste of time. So I know other denominations have their own routines, but that's what maybe that happens in other Church of England and Catholics. I have no idea. And I don't want to know, and I think it's all nonsense. Well, there you go, 50-50. So that's the religious, well, Christian religion out of the way. Now the other half of the people in the survey would have said, no, I'm not religious, but I believe in Brian Cox. He's my high priest now. Anything he says, I listen to, and all hail Brian. And it's the same thing, of course, because it's faith-based. If you think that astrophysicists are telling you the truth, then you are as much of an idiot as if you think the Pope or any man in a dress with a silly hat on can talk directly to God. One, he's not there, and two, what the fuck? Are you insane? So it's the same thing. Brian Cox is speaking directly to a giant black hole which isn't there. Two black holes colliding, which didn't happen and never will and never has, and is so ridiculous. Just really think about it. Don't pass off your skills of discernment to some TV evangelist like Brian Cox, because that's all he is. He has a huge platform to influence people, and when he goes on about billions and billions and billions, it sort of goes, whew, but that's all right, because Brian knows. So as long as Brian knows, and people like him, then we're safe, aren't we? We're okay. Those asteroids will never come down and get us, because Brian's watching the skies for us. Clever man. And we'll find out what's in our atoms, even though we've never seen one, because we're going to send them round a big collider and smash them up into little bits so we can see what's inside them. Utter nonsense. Just, the space program takes huge amounts of money where it could be, from where it could be spent doing some good, and so does this total nonsense with the colliders. There's not just one, of course. That's the biggest one, the CERN collider. Is it 2 different countries? It's so big it had to be in 2 different countries. And of what benefits to mankind have they brought? Oh, I know. As many as the space program. And how many is that? 0. Because we can suss it all out on Earth. In fact, that's where the space program exists. On Earth. It doesn't exist in space, because the vacuum of space is bollocks. And if you've just heard me say that and you've never heard anybody else say that, then where have you been? Plus, make a vacuum. Create a vacuum. And then you realize it has to have a solid barrier. Create air pressure, same thing. So how can you have air pressure next to a vacuum? But Brian overlooks this. he doesn't like to talk about things like that. He just likes to talk about things that are billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of miles, light years, doesn't matter. It's just choose anything you like. It's all fucking shite. Now, I've said this before, but I'll say it again because some people cannot get this. And okay, the vacuum thing and the air pressure thing, that's good enough for me. But just think on this. The sun, our sun, supposedly 93 million miles away. Okay. 93 million miles. It's the same size as the moon, of course. But let's overlook that coincidence and just go along with their nonsense for a little while, just for me to explain this to you. So it's 93 million miles away in 8 light minutes. That means it takes the light, so they say, 8 minutes to get to us on Earth. Hello. So, okay. Let's make it 16 light minutes away. That's half the size of the sun and twice the distance. So it's half the size now. So now let's make it half an hour away, 30 minutes. So that's again half the sun again in size, and light minutes, 30 light minutes away, half the sun and double the distance again. Now I'm not going to work out the distances because 93 is not a good number to keep doubling. 93 million. But the distance really doesn't matter because what I'm saying is practical. If you just keep halving it being the sun. So let's do it again. So let's make it a light hour away and half it again. Half the size again. Now then, that's quite small by now. Ooh. I think it needs a new exhaust. So, could you still see it? Well, probably you could still see the sun if it was a light half hour away. But let's make it now a light day away. I don't think you could see it. But a light day isn't very long. The furthest, I think the furthest star, the closest star to us on Earth, so they say. It's all nonsense, this, by the way. Is something like 2.4 light years. Now, if you put our sun a light week away, you certainly couldn't see it. Yet they say that all those stars up there are just, most of them are average suns like ours is. So how the hell can anybody see them? It's all total bollocks. If you can't get that, if you can't grasp it, then I feel quite sorry for you, because it's a very simple thing. Watch it again. See if you can grasp it, because that is it's a killer. It kills. Well, it should exterminate Brian Cox. I don't wish him dead. I think he's a pretty good actor, as acting goes. He's not Robert De Niro standard, but he is an actor. I don't think he could really turn his hand to a great deal of other things. So, oh, poor Brian. If his acting role is going to come to a severe end shortly, then I wonder how good he is with a spade.